Okay, so this is a quick overview of how to complete your poster project. So right now I am in the week 8 folder in Schoology. And I'm going to go to Tuesday. And here I see the function poster project. So I'm going to click here. Another way that you can see this poster project is if you're just in the main page for the course, it should also show up here on the right side where it says upcoming assignments. So you can also click it from here. Once you've opened the actual assignment, this is where you're going to edit and complete your poster. So your screen should look a little bit different from mine. You should have a button up here that says My Document. You want to click My Document. After you click My Document, there will be a button on the right side that says Edit. So click the Edit button. After you have clicked Edit, it should open up a PowerPoint, something that kind of looks like this. It will be blank with the directions on the first slide. So as an example here, I've pulled up a blank PowerPoint. You will need to create 2 posters total. One poster is going to be the function poster. So I will write function on top, and I'll have 3 examples of functions. Then the second poster you're going to create is the non-function poster. So it's going to say non-function on top, and your 3 examples are going to be examples of things that are not functions. So to create these mapping and graphs, all you have to do is go to Insert up here. I click on Insert, and then I want to click on Shapes. I'm going to use this oval shape right here for my mapping. And once you see this little these little 4 arrows show up, that means you can click and drag your shape wherever you want. You can make it bigger, you can change the look of it, and you can also copy it. So I can copy this and paste it to make a duplicate. And if I click directly on the shape, you can see a cursor shows up, and I can actually just type some numbers into my oval here. I can also change the font size to make it bigger or smaller. I can also change the color if I want to have a different color. Once I have done that and I've finished my example, I need to add some arrows for my mapping diagram. Whenever you need to add arrows, we do the same thing. We go to Insert, we click on Shapes, and now I want to select this arrow here. You'll see that an arrow pops up on the screen. Before I move my arrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color and the thickness because I want it to be a little bit more easy to see. So I'm going to click this button up here. It has the little color, and I want to make this black, and I want to make it a little thicker. So I can make it thicker by clicking Weight, and I can choose the thickness. I'm going to choose this one, and I can make it longer or shorter, and I can drag it to wherever I want. Okay, and then I can add more arrows for the rest of my mapping diagram. Next, let's say that I want to label this mapping diagram, right? Because normally it says domain and range on the top. So again, I'm going to go to Insert and go to Text Box. Once I have this text box, I'm going to drag it to where I want to put my words. And then I'm going to click inside the box and type what I want to type. So in this case, I want to label it domain and range. So I'm going to type domain. I'm going to make my font a bit bigger, maybe make it bold so that it's easy to see. And then I'm going to drag it to the perfect spot here. And now it's labeled as domain. I'm going to do the same thing for range, add a text box, etc. So once you have done that, you can also add text boxes for your explanations underneath as well. Let's talk about how to do the graph next. So for the graph, you'll need a background of the actual graph paper, kind of like what I have here. I want to get this picture of a graph. So what I have to do is I have to click Insert again. And this time I'm going to go to Pictures because I want to find a picture that I can use as my background. So I'm going to type in graph paper. You can also just type in grid, coordinate plane. A lot of those will work. This is going to search the internet for some pictures that I can use. And I'm going to choose this one because it already has the 4 quadrants. So this one looks pretty good. And I'll bring it up here. There's like a little extra text box here that shows up. If you don't want that, you can just click it and delete it. Okay, and then you can resize it. You can make it bigger or smaller. So for this graph, now I want to add some sort of design. So depending on whether or not you're making an example for a non-function or function, your graph is going to look different. Since I'm making the non-function slide, I'm just going to create something that's a non-function. One way that we can do this is you click Draw up here, and you can click the pen button, and you can actually just draw any kind of graph you want. So you could just use your mouse to draw the picture. If you don't feel comfortable drawing the picture, I'm going to erase it here. Let's say you're not an artist, you don't want to draw it. You can also just insert and use shape again. So I can, make lines. I can create a picture with the shapes here. And I can also insert other things. If you wanted to make a curved graph, you could insert a curve. So there's a lot of things that you can do here in order to create your graph here. And you can just play around and use whatever shapes. Right, again, and when you're done with that, all you have to do is finish and add some more text up here, your explanation, etc. The last thing I want to talk about is if you want to add a little bit of extra design and make your poster look nice. You can choose to add a background. Instead of this plain white background, you can do something a bit more colorful. So if you click Design up here, you can see a bunch of pre-selected, pre-made backgrounds. So you could choose any of these, and if you like them, you could use that as your background, kind of like this. All right, so you could do this one, or you could do this one. But there's also a bunch of other variations. Let's say we wanted it to be simple, but maybe a color in the background. So I could make it dark as my background. I could change the color. So maybe I want it orange or something. So you can do a lot of stuff here to also just add to the aesthetic of your poster.